Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Amanda, and I've been trying to figure out how to do this. So I wanted to film a wrap up of the end of August, how August-athon went, and just in general about my thoughts on it. What did I read? And I don't know the best way to go about doing it. I have spent, y'all, so I kept saying, I'm going to wait and enter everything after it's over. So I had some of y'all help me to come up with what I was going to count things for in her kit. And I went through and did all of that on the last day of August, or actually on the 30th, on the Saturday that my members and I were doing the final sprints for me to finish. And I sprinted with them until I finished reading the last thing I needed to do, which was awesome. But now I'm like, I don't know how to share what has happened, because I feel like if you were following along in the Friday check-ins, or if you were watching the shorts that I was doing every day, mostly every day, then you know what happened. You saw the whole thing. And so I don't know what good a recap like that would be, other than to just go through everything that I read and talk about all of that. So I don't want to take the time to go through every single one of the books. And I know that a lot of what y'all like is the stats and how things are working in my other overall reading plans. Okay, the one thing I have not done is this checkup for the Year Full of Seasonal and Holiday Fun challenge that my friend Lynn's has done. I am working on level 12, and you can see that I have done a lot of it so far, but I have not done any of my August reads, because just getting the books that I read into my tracker sheet, because I didn't track any of these before the month started. So just getting, or in the middle of the month, just getting all of those done for August was daunting, to say the least. Now, this is everything that I've read in August. That's what's over here on this page. Everything that I read in August. Some of these will not count for her kid. Some of them didn't even count for all the readathons that I was doing. They're just the ones that I read. So total, not counting the tiny mangas that I read 50 things. Most of the stuff that I read was novels. There were a few novellas. There was one short story. There was a couple of graphic novels as well. Most everything was a novel. And the total number of pages that I read in the month is 14,101. And I finished, like I said, 2 more books right at the end that I was not expecting to finish. I reread The Inheritance Games right here close to the end of the month, and I was saying how much I liked it and how much I had forgotten, and I didn't think that I had continued with the second book. And then I actually did, because I was like, well, let me get the second book. It's right here on Libby. It was actually available, not put on hold. So I grabbed it to read on the last day of the month, just for fun. And I kept thinking the things that I thought were going to happen in the first book is what happens in the second book. So I had actually read the second book. I had just forgotten that I read it. So anyway, now I'm ready for book 3. I am on hold at the library. So when it comes up, I'm just going to read it. Whatever month that is, I'm just going to read it. So that has nothing to do with anything, except that's one of the reasons why I read The Hawthorne Legacy near the end of the month. And I also read All Systems Red, which was a reread for me, because I'm caught up on the Murderbot series. And then you guys might remember that last month I watched the first season of Murderbot on Apple TV. I think it's Apple. And I was able to count that for my adaptation. And so, but also because we watched it, I was like, oh, I really want to read All Systems Red again. So I did. I just put on the audiobook and I read it. It's really short. It's less than 2 hours on audio, and I already knew what happened. So I just put it on 2 times speed and I listened to it. So I read 14,000 pages in the month of August. And I have some thoughts about that. The first one being that I did not do anything else. Like, I could not focus on anything else. I did keep videos going on my 2 channels, but I did not keep up with them like I wanted to. I like to be about a week ahead on all my videos, and I was definitely not a week ahead. I'm trying to not work on the weekends. That did not happen. I definitely had to work on the weekends because I was having to use work time to read books to try to get them all done. The main question I think I have gotten is, are you going to do this again? And up until the very end of the month, I kept saying no, no, no. And now I'm saying maybe. I do think I want to do it again. And I messaged Paige. I said, what do you think about? I was like, I'm so glad this is over. And also, I might do it again next year. And she said, it'll be interesting to see if we picked the month with the least number of readathons, like when the whole thing is over, if her spreadsheet might have August as the least number of readathons. But I think the one thing I'm not going to do is I'm not going to pick either of the months when Aurelium happens, because that by itself for me is over 20 books. And if I'm unable to get those 20 books to fit a lot of other things, then I don't know. I feel like it'll be too much. So that leaves 10 months next year that I'm open to doing this again and doing every readathon that I can find in the month. So if y'all have a favorite month, I could do June. That's my birthday month. So I could pick June because hopefully we won't be moving this June. We were moving last June during my birthday and it was ridiculous. Although June is also when Wonderthon happens, and Wonderthon is a chaos all its own. And I don't know if I want to spend like half a month reading for all the readathons, and then those last 2 weeks, 10 days, however long it is, it feels like it's 6 months long. But doing all that, I just don't know that I can handle it in June. So I don't know. Lizzie, if you're watching and you're for sure that it's going to be in June, let me know when it's going to be, if you know when it's going to be, because I don't want to pick that month. I want to be open for Wonderthon to kind of float and do whatever I want to do and read whatever I need to read. But other than that, I'm open. So y'all can let me know what y'all think. I don't want to do it for a while. Nobody picked January because I don't want to do January. I might do February. That's the shortest month of the year. I could do February, but I don't want to do August again. So I want to pick a different month. And I think that that's everything. I can show y'all what our stats look like. I mean, I know we want to see some stats. There are multiple countries that now Sierra Leone has a book there. Canada and Mexico and the United States, of course, has a lot. England has a lot. I thought there were more. There are more. I can't get it to register, but there are other countries on here, more than what I have had before. The U.S. map is looking real sparse here in the middle. I got the outside edges done pretty well, but the middle is looking a little bit sparse. The best stats for me are the prompts over here. So I love By the 100s is done. Adaptations is done. I did add 50 Before 50 Buzzword and Eldia. Those are my own that I added. I don't think, the 24-hour readathon is done, or the 24-hour reads and the readathon are both done. But we'll discuss that in the Herkiad thing. But I love it out here how it tells me how many prompts have been done. And then down at the bottom where it tells me the authors. So look at all of these authors. T. Kingfisher winning with 6. And I think they will forever be winning because one of the things I'm trying to do is read their entire backlog. Lexi Blake might get up there because I'm also reading her entire backlog, but we'll see. She's only at 2 right now. At 3 is Jennifer Lynn Barnes because of the Inheritance Game stuff and the Naturals. But then we've got a few more 2s. Martha Wells, 2 of hers. Brian K. Vaughan, he wrote Saga, so that might actually be spiking because I'll be reading some more Saga soon. Brandon Sanderson and Brian McClellan, they're both 50 Before 50 authors, so I'm not surprised by the fact that actually everybody that has 2, they're all 50 Before 50 people. T. Kingfisher is not a 50 Before 50, nor is Jennifer Lynn Barnes, but everybody else who got 2 books, They're 50 before 50 authors, so that doesn't surprise me that they're there. The other stuff, we have publication year, we have author, we're not surprised. Audience, we're not surprised by. I read predominantly adult books. We're not surprised by new versus rereads. I'm a little surprised that 4% of my reads are rereads because I never reread books. But apparently I do about 4% of the time. And then you can see how my series came out. 8% of my series are now DNFs. And that's because in August, I started so many series that I'm not going to continue. I started the Goosebumps because I needed to read one of those books. I'm not going to keep going with that. I read Ella Enchanted because I needed a retelling. I'm not going to keep going with Ella Enchanted. I read a horrible sports romance that I did not like at all, and I'm definitely not continuing. Same thing with a Russian card room series. I read the first book in that. No, thank you. I am not reading that. Stop giving me female main characters who are barely 18, or in some cases, not yet 18, with 30-something-year-old men. No, thank you. I will not continue to read the series if that's what it has. Anyway, how did I read these? I found that I could put a mix on here for the first time. And so there are some that were paperback, and then I have physical and audio was 4 of my books. Ebook and audio was 1 book. Ebook, 6 books on ebook. That is very high compared to what I usually do. And then, of course, predominantly audiobook. Nobody's shocked by that either. Django needs to say hi. He wants some cotton candy. Everybody said it looks like cotton candy on my microphone. So anyway, that's really it. I don't know that there's anything else that we can even talk about, go over. I am ready to get back to the fact that in September, I am going to do a mid-month wrap-up and talk about the things I've read in the first half and then talk about the things I've read in the second half. And hopefully there will never be a moment where I need to talk about 50 books in 1 month again. One of the things that was nice today when I was spending literally 4 hours going through and adding all this information about these books, I was able to really think about it and go, do I remember what happened in this book? And for the case of a lot of these, yes, I do. So what I may end up doing is I know at the end of the year, I'm going to do my 5 stars for the year and talk about all those. So maybe I'll do one where I talk about my lowest rating. I don't do 1 stars really, but I'll DNF a book before I give it 1 star. But I do have some 2 stars that I could talk about. So maybe that's what I'll do at the end of the year. But if there's any other way that y'all want to talk about these or hear about them or whatever, let me know. Oh, one more stat I wanted to talk about. The average rating right now is a 3.89. So not great. Total books, 76. That's for all the months. That's not just August. The average number of pages, though, per book is 290, which seems to be right in line with normal book length averages. My average hours listened is almost 8 hours per book. Again, I think that is about a normal time frame. The weirdest one is most of my releases. Oh, that says most common acquisition year. Like, when did I get the most books this year? Because I just started tracking this year. I thought that was saying most of my books had been from 2025. And I guess over here I can find out 9 of my books are from 2024. And that seems to be the biggest number. 8 are 23 and 8 are 25 and 7 is 21. So 2024 is when most of my books have been from, which is very odd. But that's it. Like, I don't know what other stats to even cover. My brain is fried from all the reading and all the looking up of all of the information to get these entered. And I promise myself that I am not doing that again. I've also gotten everything entered on HerKid. One of you reminded me to not forget to submit them on HerKid. That's done too. That was part of the whole 4-hour session this morning. So that is all done. The only thing I still have to do is this. So I will be working on this, and the next time I do an update, this will be updated with all the letters and everything will be in here, and we'll have one more color for August. I did do a couple of the ones in August, I now realize, but we'll have another color for September when I come back and check in at the end of September. So Thank you for watching and hanging out with me and being so supportive this whole entire month. Y'all always have the best ideas. Y'all have had wonderful book suggestions. I have found so many good books from y'all helping me to do all these readathons. It was so much fun, and I'm ready for a slower September. Thank you again for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.